everyone, my name is Ellen and today I'm going to be showing you guys how to play Circles by Post Malone on the guitar. So stay tuned if this is something that you want to watch. This song is actually not too hard to play. There's only 4 chords for the entire song. Unfortunately, 2 of them are bar chords. However, I will show you alternate fingerings that you can use if bar chords are something that you're currently struggling with. But beyond that, there's only 4 chords, like I said, only 2 strumming patterns for the whole song, and no capo required to have it in the original key. So with that being said, let's go ahead and jump into what those chords look like. Till we were upside down. Alright, so let's go ahead and go through what these chords look like. Like I said, there's only 4, so we're going to start with our C chord, which looks like this, and sounds like this. After that, we've got our C major 7 chord, and all you want to do for that one is take this first finger off. So you just have your ring finger and your middle finger on, and everything else will stay the same. This is our C major 7 chord, and it sounds like this. Alright, so easy transition between C and C major 7. Our next chord is our F chord, which looks like this, and sounds like this. And then our last chord you want to know is your F minor chord, and all you want to do for that is take off your middle finger, okay? So now you've still got your first finger barred and your ring and pinky are still there. So F minor looks like this and sounds like this. And those are all the chords you need to know. But like I said earlier, if bar chords are a little hard for you and this F chord is a little bit hard, you can also play F major 7, which looks like this and sounds like this. So if you want to use this F major 7 chord in place of your regular F chord, you can throughout this song. The only reason I like to do the bar chord F is because for me it's a lot easier to transition from this F to this F minor just by taking off my middle finger instead of going from this F major 7 to F minor. But it's up to you, whichever one you think is easier. So these are your chord options. Again, if you want to use that F major 7, that can be in place of any F that you see in this song. Alright, so go ahead and take a minute right here to pause the video and practice those chords and make sure that you have them memorized so it's easier for you to transition between them. And then once you have that down, let's go ahead and jump into these strumming patterns that you can use with this song. So the first strumming pattern is actually going to be a practice pattern. For anyone who's a beginner out there, I always suggest that this is how you start out so that you can kind of get used to where those chord transitions are going to be throughout the song. That way when you get used to the one down strum pattern that I'm about to show you, it'll be a lot easier to transition into some of those more complicated patterns. So let's go ahead and put our C major 7 chord down since that's the first chord in the song. And all you want to do for this first pattern is go through the entire song and just do one down strum every time you see a chord change, just so you know where it's going to be, so you know what word you're singing at that point, and just so you're familiar with the song. So let me go ahead and show you an example of what this would sound like by going through the chorus. So again, I have my C major 7 chord on. We're just going to strum it down once. Then we go to our F chord, and then our F minor chord. So super simple, you're just going to take that through and kind of sing through the words so you know where you're going to be doing those changes. Seasons change and our love went cold. Feed the flame cause we can't let it go. Run away but we're running in circles. Run away, I dare you to do something. I'm waiting on you. it's a super easy, again, if you want to do that for the entire song, I would totally suggest it, just so you can kind of get more familiar with it. But it'll be the same for all of the verses and the bridge and everything. You're just going to do one down strum on each of those chord changes. But once you get that down, let's go ahead and jump into our first real strumming pattern. So here it is. As you can see, it's just down, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. So I know that it's actually quite long, but it's very intuitive and it sounds just like the rhythm of the song. So go ahead and put your C major 7 chord back on, and I'm going to take you through this pattern once. So we've got down, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. So you can see what I'm doing between all of those transitions when you're going from an upstroke back to an upstroke or a downstroke back to a downstroke. All you want to do is kind of circle your hand around so that you're in the right position. So we've got down, then you circle your hand, down, up, circle your hand down, up, down, up, circle, up, down, up, circle, up, down, up. All right. If you're new to the guitar, this can be a little bit it can take a little time to get used to, but once you get that rhythm internalized, it becomes a lot easier. So let's go ahead and slow that down and do that pattern one more time. We've got our C major 7 chord on. Down, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. So go ahead, like I said, and pause this video now if you want to practice this strumming pattern a little bit longer at this speed, but I'm going to go ahead and speed it up so that we can get it at tempo. Again, nothing is changing with the pattern, we're just kind of speeding up the pace that we're playing it at. So go ahead and put that C major 7 chord back on, and we're going to play it a little bit faster. 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, so if you were able to play it at that speed, then now we can go ahead and add in some of those chord transitions, and that'll be the last thing we need to do before we can go ahead and play the song. So again, we're starting with our C major 7 chord on. We're doing this strumming pattern through once, so we've got down, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. And then here, before we start the pattern over again, you're going to go ahead and go to the next chord, which is our F chord. So go ahead and put your F chord down, and then it's the exact same pattern. Down, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. All right, so go ahead and do that transition with me. We've got our C major 7, down, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, F, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. Alright, so once you have that C major 7 to that F chord transition down, that's probably the hardest transition throughout this song. So now what we want to do is go from our F major chord to our F minor chord. And the way we're going to do this is we're actually going to take this pattern and split it kind of in half. And so we're going to play F for the beginning half and then F minor for the end. So with our F chord on, go ahead and put your F chord on. We're going to go down, down, up, down, up, down. And then right here, before you do this up and then this last little triplet, you want to take off your middle finger to make that F minor chord and finish it out. Up, down, up. All right? It's a very minor transition between F and F minor, but it does give that same kind of chord progression as the song, and it sounds really cool. So let's go ahead and try that part again. We've got F major, down, down, up, down, up, down, F minor, up, down, up. All right, so let's do that again. This transition shouldn't be as hard as the other one because all you're doing is lifting that middle finger off to make that an F minor chord. All right, so let's try that again. We've got F, so once you have that down, let's go ahead and add that C major 7 back into the beginning and play through this whole little section. So we've got C major 7, down, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, F, down, up, down, F minor, up, down, up. So when you switch between the F major and the F minor chord, it can kind of depend on where you're more comfortable with switching those chords within this pattern. So I found that when I played through it, some of the times I would play through it with the F minor just in this last little triplet with this last F. So it would go from F major, down, down, up, down, up, down. And then I'd go to F minor, up, down, up. But then other times during this song, I noticed that I would actually change to the F minor chord a little bit earlier. So it would go F, down, up, down. And then I would switch to F minor, up, down, up, down. So it's kind of up to you. I feel like in the song, it changes about that time in the second pattern. So whichever one you are more comfortable with switching, but just make sure you switch from the F major to the F minor sometime within that pattern. So we've got F, down, up, down, F minor. Or if you want to switch it a little later, you can switch it for that last triplet. So we've got F, so it's really up to you. Whichever one you feel more comfortable with and comes a little bit more naturally to you is probably the way that I would go. But you'll see in my cover that I kind of switch back and forth between both. I think it's just what I'm feeling in the moment while I'm playing it. So I'm just showing you both ways that you can change between the F major and the F minor, and then you can choose which one you prefer. So if you were able to follow along with that little section there, then you're pretty much good to go because that chord progression does repeat itself quite often throughout this song. And so once you can do that transition, you're pretty much set to go. But before we move on to the cover portion at the end, I did want to teach you one more strumming pattern that I will be using in my cover. And again, you can feel free to use just this one strumming pattern throughout the entire song. But if you want to also incorporate another strumming pattern to kind of change things up and make the guitar sound a little bit more interesting, then let's go ahead and look at our second strumming pattern. So here it is, and all you can see is it's just all down strums, and so it sounds kind of boring, but the way that we're going to make this sound more interesting is we're going to emphasize every other down strum, and we're also going to add a palm mute. So what I'm doing with my palm mute is I'm just taking my playing hand, the one that has my pick in it, and I'm taking the side of my hand and just kind of resting it against these strings right here in between the sound hole and the bridge, and I'm just going to gently lay it there while I play these chords. So you got our C major 7. Without a palm mute, it rings a lot. But when I add that palm mute and just kind of gently lay my palm there, it definitely mutes all of those strings. It doesn't sound that great right now, but when you add it into a pattern, it kind of gives it more of a rhythmic feel, which I think matches the song during the verses. So let me go ahead and show you how I will be using this pattern in my cover. Alright, so like I said, I like to use this during the verses, so I'm going to go ahead and put my C chord on, since that's the first chord in the verse. And all we're going to do is we're going to use our palm mute, and we're just going to strum C down 8 times. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right, if you don't want to add the palm mute, you can still totally do this pattern. It just won't sound as rhythmic. It'll be a little bit more ringing, but you can still do it. So it'd just be 8 down strums without the palm mute. All right, but since I like the way that it sounds more rhythmically, I'm going to add my palm mute in. So again, we've just got this pattern and it's just 8 down strums. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right, and so for the verse, all you want to do is double up on this pattern. So you're going to play it through twice for each chord change. So we've got our C chord, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 again, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Then you go to your next chord, which is our F, and it's the same exact pattern. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 again, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then it's pretty much that whole pattern through for the entire verse. So right now it doesn't really sound like the song because it is quite slow. So in order to have it sound like the original, we want to speed it up a little bit. So go ahead and put that C chord back on and choose your palm mute, or you don't have to do it. And we're gonna go ahead and speed this up. Again, if you're not ready to speed up, then go ahead and pause the video and practice it at this tempo, and then slowly try to see if you can get those down strums a little bit faster. But I'm going to go ahead and show you what this is going to sound like at the original tempo. So I've got my C chord on. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 twice. F twice. Back to C. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 twice. Back to F. And that's the whole pattern for this second pattern. What you're hearing when I'm playing it through is that I'm emphasizing certain beats, and so it's kind of giving it more of a rhythmic feel. And so the ones that you'll see that I'm doing right now are every other one. So it'd be the 1st, 3rd, 5th, and 7th down strum. So it'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And how I'm accomplishing that rhythm is just I'm adding a palm mute still for all of the beats, but what I'm doing is on the 1st, 3rd, 5th, and 7th, I'm kind of just like giving it a little bit more energy when I'm strumming down with my right hand. So in turn, what that does is on those beats, it kind of emphasizes it. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right? So you'll see in my cover, I'm going to try to kind of incorporate that rhythm where we're emphasizing every other down strum, just so it can give it a little bit more of that driving rhythmic feel. But let me go ahead and show you what that sounds like in the verse. So go ahead and put your C chord on and we'll go through what this sounds like. When I do my cover, I like to use that pattern for the beginning of the verse, but for then the end of the verse, I actually like to go back to the first strumming pattern, so that down, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up strumming pattern. The only difference is that I'm going to add a palm mute to that pattern. So the pattern is still exactly the same as we went through earlier, I'm just adding a palm mute. So we've got down, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, F, F minor. Again, if you find palm muting hard, then you can just go back to the first strumming pattern, or if you want to, you can still continue doing this strumming pattern for the entire verse. I just think that it sounds a little bit more fun and a little bit more accurate if you do the all down strum pattern for the beginning of the verse, but then go back to the down, up, down strumming pattern for the second half of the verse. So let me go ahead and go through the whole verse for you so you can hear what I'm talking about. We've got my C chord on, and I'm starting with strumming pattern 2, down, F, we couldn't turn around till we were upside down. I'll be the bad guy now, but no, I ain't too. And then right here is where I switch back to the first strumming pattern, but add a palm mute. Ain't too proud. I couldn't be there, even when I tried. You don't believe it. We do this every time. And then you would go into the chorus, which we practiced earlier with strumming pattern 1. So once you have all this under your belt and you have those chords memorized, you have the transitions down, and you can do all of these strumming patterns, or you can do one or the other. Let's go ahead and put all of those elements together so that we can play through the whole song. You thought that it was special, special, but it was just the sex though, and that's what you're the echo. This is Circles by Post Malone. Good luck. Away. my tutorial for Circles by Post Malone. I hope you guys liked it. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you did like it and you found it helpful, please make sure to give me a thumbs up down below, as well as to leave a comment for any other song that you might want to see in the future. Also be sure to hit that subscribe button, that way you guys know every single time I upload a new video for you guys. Here are my social media handles in case you want to follow me on any of those. That's just where I do a lot of like sneak peeks and giveaways and polls and little fun things like that. And then one last little plug is, if you like the shirt that I'm wearing today in my video, this is my Love Guitar Forever shirt. So that is available in my official merch store, which you can find linked down below underneath this video. There should be some merchandise there, or you can go to my YouTube channel page and it'll be linked there as well. Those are just different ways you can support me and my channel so that I can continue making these tutorials for you guys. But like I said, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope this helped, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!